What is going on, guys? Justin here, aka the Unforgiven 08. And you guys seem to really like the last level 72 build I did for my assassin, so I'm going to go on ahead and get another one out there for you guys, but this time I am using my Gunzerker, as you can tell. And yeah, let's just get right into the skill tree and check out what we got here. So first off, Inconceivable. This is one of the main skills you're going to want for this build, and you'll find out why in a little bit, but I mean, you just look at it, it's great. The lower your health and shields, greater the chance of free ammo. Who doesn't want free ammo? All in the reflexes increases your reload speed and melee damage. Melee damage does not really matter for this build, but we get it for the reload speed. Lasts longer, obviously you want to gunzerk more. You're your most powerful while you're gunzerking. So it's just going to help you beast on enemies even more. We ignore all of these three and fill to the brim. Really because we want a lower magazine size, and I'll get into that a little bit later. And that kind of goes into this skill too. We don't really want more bullets getting added into the magazine. Steady as she goes, really not necessary. I mean, the accuracy's not that big a deal while you're gunzerking, no matter what you use for the most part. And we are not going to need this because of a skill a little farther down in the skill tree. Yippee-ki-yay, kill an enemy, you get another 3 seconds for gunzerking. This can keep you in gunzerking technically indefinitely if you always had enemies to kill. Double your fun, throw 2 grenades while you're gunzerking. The second grenade doesn't cost ammo. Awesome, awesome skill to get some more damage out there on the battlefield. And this is why we don't worry about getting into the I'm ready already skill, because this right here will increase your cooldown while you're gunzerking. So if you kill enough enemies or are able to shoot enough enemies, then you will be ready to gunzerk as soon as you come out of the last gunzerk you were just in, which can keep you in gunzerking, you know, in a perfect world indefinitely. But obviously there's going to be some times where you're not going to be able to shoot an enemy. But, you know, a lot of the times you'll be able to continuously gunzerk, as in, you know, one of yours ends and then you can just pop right back into it. Keep firing. This is just a raw DPS skill right here. Longer you hold down the trigger, the faster you fire and the faster you reload. Up to 88% increase in fire rate. That is nuts. Absolutely nuts. So let's go ahead and check out the other skill tree we're going to max out here, the Gun Lust. Locked and loaded, reloading your gun gives you a fire rate bonus. You know, I mean, the Gunzerker is all about DPS, damage per second. So anything you can do to increase the amount of damage he's doing, get into it. I'm your Huckleberry, because we're mainly going to be using pistols for this build, and I'll get into that in a minute. Pistol damage and reload speed, up that absolutely. And Divergent Likeness. Now this depends on what you plan on using while gunzerking. For this specific build, this is going to increase my damage 30% because I'm going to be using 2 pistols. If you're going to be using like a pistol and a shotgun, or an assault rifle and a pistol, you know, then put these 5 points somewhere else. And same with I'm your Huckleberry. If you're not going to be using pistols, put them somewhere else because you're not really going to need it. Now this right here is the main skill for this build that will allow you to do ridiculous amounts of damage to anything at all in the game. We've got Money Shot. The last round fired from your magazine gains massive gun damage, up to 880% bonus damage. That is just ridiculous, which is why we don't want filled to the brim, because we want our magazine size to be as low as possible so we can get to that last shot. And then we don't want this because this is just going to make it harder for us to get to that last shot, and therefore harder for us to get that extra bonus damage. So we don't want that. Because this Money Shot is basically what this whole thing is built around. Down, not out, Gunzerker can fight for your life. This is really good because we're not going to have a shield, which I'll get to once we start getting into the gear. So there are going to be times maybe where, you know, as soon as you Gunzerk, you go into fight for your life. And trust me, playing with a Gunzerker, nothing sucks more than Gunzerking and then immediately going down. It sucks. It's no fun. Then you're going to die, and then, you know, you have to wait another whatever seconds for your cooldown. Sucks. Down, not out. Guns are going to fight for your life. Also going to increase your chances of getting back up because you have 2 guns. So it's a win on both fronts. Lay Waste. I love this skill for the fire rate. Obviously, more DPS. That's really what we want with this. Anything that can increase your fire rate, get it. And you get a bonus critical hit damage, so that's awesome too. It is a kill skill, but you're going to be getting plenty of kills, so this is almost going to be up all the time. Now, Keep It Piping Hot is an interesting skill. Alright? You have gun damage, grenade damage, and melee damage increased while Gunzerking is cooling down. Now, I know you're probably sitting there thinking, wait a minute, don't we have the potential to continuously Gunzerk with this build, so why do we want this? Well, anytime you shoot an enemy and get some is spec'd, which decreases the cooldown on Gunzerking, that also procs Keep It Piping Hot. So basically, anytime you shoot an enemy, this is going to trigger, allowing you to do 25% more gun damage. And that can occur every 3 seconds. And during that whole 3 seconds, you're getting that Keep It Piping Hot. So as long as you're shooting an enemy, this is going to trigger this, and you're going to be doing butt tons of damage. And because you're going to be doing butt tons of damage, it segues well into the no kill like overkill skill, where when you kill an enemy, you gain a bonus to gun damage equal to the amount of excess damage you dealt to the enemy you just killed. So say you just killed an enemy using 10 million damage, but they only had 7 million health. Well, then you're going to get a 3 million bonus to gun damage for as long as this skill is active, which is a few seconds, which is crazy. I mean, the amount of damage you're going to be unleashing with this is just insane. Absolutely insane. And the last skill tree we're going to cover is the Brawn. I don't really find it necessary for hard to kill because we're always going to be regenerating health, so that's really not an issue. I like Insight because you're going to be getting damaged a lot. I mean, you know, you're a Gunzerker, you're out in the front lines, you're out shooting at everything. So why not get a bonus while you're at it? More movement speed, more reload speed. Awesome. And because we're not going to have a shield, which again I'm going to get to in just a second, this becomes especially important because these status effects, especially in later levels, can really mess you up. So the fact that these are decreased is just awesome. Just absolutely awesome. So let's get into the gear. Right, 2 of your weapon slots don't matter, you know, or 1 of your Gunzerking pairs doesn't really matter too much. I have interfacers in there just cuz, really, just cuz. Now, what you're going to be using and what is going to be absolutely necessary for this entire build are these 2 guns right here, the Grog Nozzle and the double penetrating Unkempt Herald. And these guns are so easy to get too. You can get this from just farming the Torg machines in the Torg DLC, and you get the Grog Nozzle for just starting the mission and never turning it in. I believe it's The Beard Makes the Man in the Assault on Dragon Keep DLC. And why it's awesome is because the double penetrating Unkempt Herald, it just does so much damage. It's probably one of the highest damage dealing weapons in the entire game. You pair that with your Grog Nozzle, which heals you for 65% of all damage dealt. That's right, 65% of all damage you deal is going to be returned to you as health. You are practically invincible with these. So get these and you will be able to kill anything in the game, I promise you, anything. And what I was talking about not having a shield, well, I guess we kind of do have a shield, just it has no capacity, right? It increases your damage resistance and max health. Now, why this is important is because, I mean, first off, you don't really need a shield because you're always going to be Gunzerking, and you're always going to have a gun that heals you while you're Gunzerking. So shields aren't really necessary. And what this also helps you with is, let's go back into the inconceivable, which I talked about at the beginning of the video, right? Your shots have a chance not to consume ammo. The lower your health and shields, the greater the chance of free ammo. The Rough Rider counts as your shield always being down. So you have a base 25% to get free ammo. And you combine that with the money shot, which can allow you to stay at that last shot with inconceivable repeatedly. You can be doing 880% bonus damage for 3 or 4 shots in a row potentially and absolutely devastate whatever you're shooting at. And what allows you to do that 880% bonus damage is this Chaotic Evil Monk class mod. It adds 6 to that money shot and also gives you a huge critical hit damage boost of 40% and a fire rate increase of 27%. And remember, anything that can increase your fire rate, awesome. Increases your DPS, makes you a walking tank. Plus, it adds 5 into the Asbestos skill, which reduces your status effect duration, which is really one of the only things that can kill you pretty fast when it's just your health bar up there. So that's absolutely awesome. And because we're going to be using pistols, we have a Sheriff's Badge. Increases your pistol damage by 22% and your fire rate by 56%. So you can already tell that we are going to have the potential to fire ridiculously fast. I mean, we're just going to absolutely devastate anything in front of us. And grenades, I have a Stormfront. It's really good for healing because of that continual damage effect, especially while you're Gunzerking. You throw 2 of those out there, it's almost impossible for you to go down when you have the Stormfronts out. So let's go ahead and get into a little bit gameplay, guys. I'm going to cut it off right here and send us to our fight. Alright guys, we're back, and because you guys gave my last one of these so much love, I'm gonna almost give you a 2-for-1 here. This is going to be also a type of how to solo Veracitus with the Gunzerker here, but this is just going to show you the absolute raw power behind this build and why this is probably one of the most, if not the most powerful builds in Borderlands 2. So let's get into it, shall we? So for this fight, I would also recommend taking out Mr. Chief Nagwatu first, because he can give Veracitus his shield, so stop him from hiding behind Veracitus, and boom, he's done. Just like that. Veracitus calling his little buddies. Probably go ahead and take out the midgets just because it's going to increase your Gunzerk time. The only thing you really have to be careful for with Veracitus is the corrosive DOT that he will put on you when he gets near you like that, because that will own you pretty badly. Come on, we can kill him with one Gunzer. Well, sometimes you'll be able to kill him with one Gunzer. Other times he'll be a little bit tougher than that. Come on. And boom. One of the toughest bosses in the game, done. And what was that? I should have been timing that. I mean, that couldn't have been any more than a minute and a half, so. And we got a nice little Hawkeye, so that's always cool. So, yeah guys, go use this build, wreck some face, farm yourself some invincibles, because I promise you will be virtually unstoppable with this build. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you did. And as always, thanks for watching, guys. Till next time, I'm out. Peace!